All right, so we back. I just want to get a quick, 45 minutes to an hour on here. See if I can bang out some more of this book before I start playing Halo or Destiny, whatever. Um, so big news. We have a book club coming up, April 29th. I'm going to be talking around 4 o'clock on April 29th, and we'll be talking about Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. So I've been kind of busy. I'm a little late today on the day stream just because I've been busy trying to get that on my TikTok, on my Instagram, on Facebook, all these feeds and whatnot. So let's just take a look. Yesterday we left off in the character development. I do just want to take a look at the things that can happen in the story. You know what we'll do? We'll write some notes. Because the story, I've been thinking about I kind of let it simmer, and so I just still want to go over this and see how it feels. Because in theory, I'd like to be able to get to the point where it's like I'm just writing this thing, and now it's like it'd be very interesting to try and knock out a story without an outline. I'm down for the challenge if anyone wants to see that. But yeah, just want to kind of see how this is going and see what I think after I've been letting it chew through for a few days. So, Jesus Chan deals with fame because of new abilities in my magic. Let's see magic, see characters. So we have to come up with this isn't even a thing that can happen. This is just like a introduction. Okay, so introduction to Jesus. Hit the ground running. Show the magic. Okay, approached by an American Hispanic young man at the museum. Interested in Jesus' help finding lost and treasure because he has a treasure map. Did we decide who sent them the treasure map? Grandfather. Jesus ignores the call. Talks to Balaam about other ninjas deciding that it is and their magical abilities when they exist. Balaam doesn't know anything about thinks that power might exist similar to Mayan magic. In Incan and Aztec cultures. Stranger shows up and handles the situation, normally taken care of by Jesus, earning his trust. Stranger means. So somehow we need to make it so that way Jesus really wants to go, and Jesus really decides to go. What could it be? So I saw a good thing on TikTok actually. It's from the creators of South Park, and they talk about how you don't want to have and then, you want to have but and therefore. So, you know what we could do? Therefore, watch what we'll do. I already have it. Strangers have been in a situation with earning his trust and saving his life. Okay, we're gonna get rid of this because that's not powerful enough. Earning his trust, saving his life. It's a secret that the American set up the situation that put Jesus in danger. Okay, so it's a but therefore. So Jesus is living his life, but he's approached by an American and Hispanic man at the museum. But Jesus declines. Talks to Balaam. See, this is Therefore, Jesus, thinking that there might be magic, talks to Balaam. But the stranger saves Jesus' life. Therefore, Jesus agrees as long as he can bring sidekick. And who can hear it is having trouble at home. One's in Peru. But there's somebody else searching for the same treasure. Therefore, they have to move fast. Traveling to, let's say, Lima. Let this be Lima. Alright, below on studio. Can I see something where they find the second clue? Psyche and three of them with Balaam barely escape. Jesus demonstrates magic by teleporting objects multiple times towards a high ledge to save their lives, try to worry something in boulder, or Jesus teleports projectiles away from them, saving them from being impaled. How is teleport not part of this? Teleporting, teleports. Meets Chaska without knowing it outside. And outside the entrance. All right. Second clue leads to ledge on high mountains and cliffs. We need to see condors. First contact with other person hunting for the treasure. Because of the layout, Jesus talks to them one-on-one and finds out they are scared and uncertain, reminding him of himself when he was stealing mind courtesy so he can write mind magic. Jesus pulling them away from danger. Leaving his scent. Pulling them away from danger. Person grabs a hold of Jesus' shirt and rips it, leaving a piece behind. Okay. Rest and recuperate after not understanding the clue. Second clue. Discuss the situation and see how Balaam and Psychic feel about helping American-born man. After seeing how he treats waiters and other lower status individuals. Third clue leads into the oldest market in Lima. They had to find a relic and key that will unlock the chest they discovered on the cliff. Let's say, I wonder if there's a market in Cusco. Let's look that up. I mean, there's gotta be, right? Best markets in Cusco. Oh, it's USCO. Yeah, we can do that. In Cusco. But the largest market now in modern Cusco isn't the same one that was written and they can't find the path. They have to find a relic, like the chest being they discovered on the cliff. Similar to conclusion. Okay. Not understanding / not being able to open second clue. Okay. Chasing. Running from local gang, working with Peruvian treasure hunter. Find the rope / knots in the chest, beating other hunter to the punch. No magic appears to the man who hired Jesus, making Balaam and him skeptical. Found by other Incan searcher because of tracking ability, because of their tracking ability or ability to communicate with animals. Think green, seeing from a Song of Ice and Fire. Shows up and confronts person who hired Jesus, knowing him from long ago when they were kids. Knowing them. Fight in a bar. Police show up and arrest Peruvian. Call back and change brush to the side. In the Peruvian. It's hysterical. Exploration to potential magic abilities, finding none. It's like a training scene. The more time goes by, the more Jesus realizes the man he's working for isn't good. Only wants power, kicks the dog instead of save the cat. Okay. Jesus visits Peruvian in jail, learns that the man Jesus works for is cousins with Peruvian. True story is emerges created when Francisco Pizarro took over the Incan Empire. Then we can get the backstory. The conquistadors and the emperor. Let's see. Jesus relates Pizarro with Montejo. Becomes determined to help bring back Incan relics. They already have the Incan relics. To help take Incan relics. Bruh, I said at 6. Halo at 6. Are you down for Halo at 6 though? At Parappa, like I said in Discord. Take Incan relics back from American. Jesus sees another part of the map / prophecy that says that taking the nuts of Machu Picchu will unleash magic for all Incan descendants, just like with the Mayan codices. Jesus tells American who hired him about helping everyone get magic. The man doesn't care about everyone else and only wants magic for himself, reminding Jesus of Hugh. Jesus makes plan for springing a Peruvian man from prison, putting his freedom at risk. Psychic steals relics from American-born, shows up outside the prison. Travel to Machu Picchu with the fugitive. Created by police. Alright, this is like the last battle. Balam weak. No shadow warrior. Because they're in the presence of a different nation's power. See, but Balam doesn't know, so we had to say something along the lines. Or we could put this either. So we can say this nice and we can put this into place nice and early. Balam weak. No shadow warrior. Cause okay, police took away rightful heir. He can't do anything because his powers are tracking and not offensive. Are animal based. And she can, and she doesn't want them harmed. Jesus sees American take the chest and knocks them back to his car. To police escort. To police car. His own escort. Jesus breaks out of police custody and runs to the knots despite the Balam rejecting that the magistrates will not mix. Don't. Not might not. Don't. Jesus pauses the sight and doesn't care. He loses his magic and takes the knots from the American. Jesus can teleport organic matter with combined powers. Brings back the Incan descendant and shoves knots into her hand. Incan puts knots on a raised platform at midnight on the 6th day after the summer solstice. Contact creates vortex which pulls magic from everyone, then explodes, releasing magic back into the trio from Mexico and the Incan. Incan still wants to go to American, but Jesus stops her. Saying how he already doesn't have magic, so no reason to continue his punishment. Saying how the American already doesn't have no reason to continue punishment. Jesus is back in Mexico, receiving news and social media updates about Incan magic, helping preserve Machu Picchu from excessive tourism and erosion. Okay. I don't hate that. I feel like I'm missing a few scenes though. I mean, I guess they'll show up as I kind of create my outline. / I know they will, but changed beliefs. Jesus goes from not caring about anything but his own experience / people / city to understanding that the wider world's indigenous cultures need his help too. Jesus wants to... Oh, he has to find out that it was a fake too. So that's going to be his kind of finds out that the American staged the life-risking scenario in Merida. Okay. Help other marginalized indigenous communities. Ba-ba-ba. Opponent's attack on Jesus' weakness. You can almost say that. What's his? I need to start using his name. Fernand. Attack on Jesus' weakness. Main attacks opponent's attack on Jesus' weakness. Jesus' weakness is that he has trouble with confidence. So Fernand is the ultimate confident con man. Upon Jesus' sense of duty and honor. Opponent's values. Cleverness. Manipulation. I think just looking at these 37 scenes, I mean, I could probably crank out, even without even doing anything else other than this, I could probably crank out like 50,000 words for this. But it just feels like it's missing. It's missing something. I mean, it'll be a fast book, that's for sure. It'll come together, though. It'll come together. Because really, if you'll see, so this is all just brainstorming until the very, very end. When this is this 22 steps right here. This is the thing. Oh, what the hell? One. Woo, that is not good. Hold on, let me see on my. Oh, I can't open it on two different computers. So one. Somehow this got numbered. And this isn't supposed to be numbered. Anyways, so the desire, this is supposed to be like one. This is not supposed to have a number here. So this is the 22nd step, not the 65th step. So the 62nd, the 21st step, moral decision, has two parts. But so this is the actual final thing. So we see all this stuff is how we're going to build the book. But these are just like, it's almost like brainstorming, like glorified brainstorming. So we're just trying to make sure that we have enough meat on these bones over here, so that way we can really put it together in the 22 steps. That the formatting is really off. I'm gonna play with the formatting on. Yeah, see, this isn't right. This formatting shouldn't be like this at all. But I'll play with the formatting on my Mac because it's clunky on here. Let's see. The opponent's values: cleverness, manipulation, power. I'm gonna say like correctness, or like what he believes is correct, though. So it's almost like values confidence. Opponent similarities to the hero, both trying to carve out their place in the world. Both young men approximately the same age. Both deal with being othered, being an other in their hometowns. All right, moral problem and justification. Moral problem. How did I do this in this other one? Let's see. So the central moral problem is, what role do ancient traditions play in an increasingly modernized / technological world? And then the moral problem. We gotta say what these Fernando Rivera, Chaska Mamani. So, moral problem, variation on the moral problem for Jesus Chan, as he believes, what we'll do here, we'll just copy and paste this. Believes in preserving ancient traditions that applying to the wild world, justifies his belief because Maya are traditionally looked down upon in Merida. Chaska Mamani. Believing, yeah, here we go. So yeah, so this is why they each have a different way they go about the central moral problem. So it's like they all kind of have their own little bent. Believing tradition should be front and center of her home's culture, not just for commercial benefit. Justified by the new follower, Clundyman. Welcome to the group. By the believing tradition should be front and center of her home's culture, not just for commercial. I am still writing. I'm playing Halo at 6. I'm gonna put gun noises. I'll put Halo noises in the background. It'll be like my my writing playlist. Not just for commercial benefit, justified by the knowledge, by the fact that Machu Picchu is the main tourist attraction, but indigenous culture still looked down upon. It's funny though, like this is kind of an aside, but Peru recently elected a president who is a farmer and teacher, and so there's a tweet right now. Peru's new president, 51-year-old farmer and teacher who wears a traditional Andean Palm Straw Hat took office as Peru's president. He's like the socialist. He's like a socialist, big indigenous kind of guy, and so I'm gonna be kind of talk about how it's like not getting as much, how like it's not as front and center as it should be, but then they just elected somebody who kind of comes from that background. Ah, oh, Parapet, come on, man. You just got to move your thumbs. Or I guess your controller. I forget. Maybe my mouse and keyboard. You can just stay mute. We don't need to talk. Let's see. Fernando Rivera's variation on the moral problem believes ancient traditions are there to serve him. So you see these three people are all young adults, and they all have a different way that they believe that indigenous cultures should be dealt with within society. So this is the central moral problem. I'm PC Master Race too, but I got my Elite controller. I can't suck again. Like I can't go back to being terrible at these games. What role do ancient traditions play in an increasingly modernized technological world? So, Fernand Rivera, the trickster bad guy, he believes ancient traditions are there to serve him for profit. Let's say for profit. For profit. And personal gain. Doesn't want any of the margins and taking any of the magic he believes should be his alone. Okay. And justifies this by saying that indigenous Incan already had magic, but lost it to the Spaniards. So what good did it do? All right, so the four corner opposition is Jesus Chan. He is a prince. So we're just filling out the archetypes. So the logic here is you want to have the four. You want to try and drive the four corners as far away from each other. So if you look here, Chaska Mamani and Fernand Rivera are on opposite sides of the corners because they're as far apart as you can go. And Jesus Chan, he kind of is on both. He kind of has like a little bit of both. So he is like, he trusts in the indigenous, the traditions, but he doesn't flaunt them, and where she puts them front and center. And then Fernand says they should be like, they're only his to serve a purpose. Use a mouse and keyboard on my Kindle, an electric pen and voice on cell phone. Last in electronic PC. Right? Master Race. I mean, I'm on PC because of the streaming. I used to be, I have an Xbox. You might be able to see it somewhere. It's back there. I have my Xbox on my TV now because I used to have it on my PC monitor. Zebra, good to see you in here again. I looked up the game Elite. What's that? Elite Odyssey. It looks interesting. I watched the guy playing it earlier. I think he was mining something. He was like in an asteroid belt. I thought when you were talking about it, I got the impression that it was like a wilderness thing, a wilderness survival thing, but it's like a space game. It's space survival. So that's pretty cool. Fernand Rivera, he is a trickster. Mamani's a rebel. And then trickster. And then we are going to put the police chief in the other. So police chief Valentin Roca, he doesn't believe, he is not indigenous at all, and so he really doesn't understand why the preservation of Incan culture is such a big deal to the other, even to the other three. He's a little bit more confused. But he's just trying to do the right thing. All right. All right, so that's a good stopping point today. I just want to go over. I like the characters. I do need to introduce Valentin Roca earlier, so let's add another scene, another step to here. So we can say, so here's one, police show up and arrest other Peruvian called by the American. Here, let me think. Video game challenges. Protect. Collect. Escape. Stuff like that. Okay. Over the same treasure. Traveling to Lima to walking into Lima, because I guess, I mean, once you're flying into Peru, so that's going to be, you're flying into Lima. Like, I'm looking into flights at Cusco. I'm in DC right now, looking into flights to Cusco. It's what, DC to Orlando, and then Orlando to Lima, then Lima to Cusco. So you have to go to Lima no matter what, I think. So we just assume they're going to Lima. And Valentin Roca, right? I think. Yeah, Valentin Roca. Shows up investigating disturbance. All right, and then we have to see, especially if I was going to rewrite all this, actually I'm going to do. What we're going to do tomorrow, Monday. I'll be back on Monday, and I'll go through, and I want to go through, and I'll show you how these 37, this is probably going to break up into way more, because, like, for example, Third Clues told us market in Cusco, but it's almost think like each thing has to have a video game challenge to start. So they're going to collect, escape, like these. Collect, protect, collect, escape. And so you kind of want to start each one with something like that. So that way you can hook the reader into that scene broken up. And so we can do that on Monday. No style here. Make this a list. What? Why is it so small? The only thing about working between the Mac and the PC is that it is the formatting is just getting kind of wonky. So yeah, so we'll go ahead and call it there. Oh yeah, all this is inside the 22 Steps book. So here, let me grab it real quick. Have not mind Odyssey in over a year. Has spending most of time on various planetary. So you're almost it's would you Zebra? Would you say it's almost like a Second Life type of thing where you're like you have another almost like another existence. Your character has an existence inside the other planets and installations. So yeah, so inside this guy, each chapter is going to be, let's see, how to use the 7 steps. This is a chapter, and so he goes through and he'll write all. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on character now. I'll just go down real quick. So creating your characters. This is a chapter, okay, and then within the chapter, I'm going through the exercises. At the end of each chapter is these exercises, and so this is what you have to fill out. But the words in the book, the bulk of the book is making up for explaining all these things. So you have like how to build your characters, how to have your 7 steps, and each scene has to have 7 steps within them. And so that's why I want to be honest with you, this still feels a little bit this still feels to me a little tiny bit muddy, right? And so and it's funny, that's why I went ahead and added this step here, because he has another, he's like rewrite them or reorder them. So this one is like write down, he says 10 to 15 things that might work. I just do as many as I don't really try and write the whole book there or put all the book's stories. And he's like, okay, and then you reorder them and rewrite them so that way you can have your 7 steps. And then you identify the 7 steps. And so that's where I want to reorder it a little bit and kind of tweak. And so this is like after the problem, another culture might have magical powers, the desire that he like, and then that's when he decides to say yes, he wants to do it. Opponent, and we explain all that, and then plan is he has to find the relics, and then the battle is where after he realizes he's helping the wrong guy, he goes and switches. Yeah, kind of. It is kind of like a brain dump. You just write down, and this only because I've written. I'm on this is book number 13. I've written, so I'm kind of like I got a good sense about what needs to happen. Like, oh yeah, introduce this guy. Oh yeah, introduce that. Oh yeah, introduce this. Oh yeah, you need this kind of guy, or you need this kind of scene, or you need to take a step back, because if it's action, if you've seen John Wick, you know how it's kind of exhausting, because the whole time you're just like go, but you need to take a step back, take a breath, and then you can move forward. Streets, elements, along with portions outside of it, the elements of educational items, the oxen, imperial beef, bills of credit, etc. Oh yeah, okay, that's cool. I'll have to find another streamer who's doing the Odyssey of the inside of more towards what you say. It sounds like you're doing in the what's it called, the planetary installation surfaces and installations. Yeah, so this to be honest with you, this is, if I was going to gun to my head, if I had to write a book right, like I literally had to start right now, get this thing done, I could make this work. It just feels a little bit, like I said, it just feels a little bit muddy to me, because it's just I can't even say where or why, and it's not even like I feel rushed or anything. It's just a little bit it's almost like we're just moving too quickly on we're like brushing over some of this stuff and on some of the motivation things. So for example, there's a book I was reading, and the guy lives in like a cyberpunk world, like this idealistic world, and then all of a sudden he's outside the compound, and he's told that his parents are these revolutionaries, and he's told that he's the key to stopping the corporation, and then the guy just goes. And it's just like, okay, man, like, even if you're upset with your life, even if you don't like it, even if you don't believe it, even if you're like, for whatever reason, it just kind of it's a bit of a leap to be like, oh, everything's great, and then all of a sudden, wait, I'm going to jump into the deep end with you for no reason whatsoever, I guess. So it's like the motivation stuff still seems a little bit fuzzy to me, because it's like, okay, but like it's almost like the main character here isn't Jesus. The main character is the person that hired Jesus, and I need Jesus Chan to be the main character because of the type of story I'm writing, right? Like if this was the first in the novel, I could, maybe make it a little bit different, but I already had this is the sequel, so it's going to be about Jesus Chan, and I only write from one viewpoint, so it's not like I'm going to have all these different head hoppings. So it's just a little bit fuzzy, that's all. And so rewriting it is going to help a lot, I believe. And so then I can kind of put in like the kind of challenge that I want, what they're like, what gets them, like kind of what gets you into each thing. Is there an underlying personality trait for spontaneity or impulsiveness? Yeah, so that's another thing. Like the characters I write tend to be apathetic, and so it's like there has to be a very real poke that makes them move, and so so that's where it works, because it's like once shit hits the fan, it's like and then, and so it works really well in that regard. But you don't have I don't have that, like the luxury of having like a hot-headed guy who's like, nah, I'm gonna go in, and it's like, oh wait, like he's gonna there has to be a real reason why he's actually doing his thing. And so so even in the last book, it's like Jesus's, like his main character traits are like, and again, he's kind of he developed in the first book, but like he's unmotivated, unambitious, indecisive, things like that. And so that's where it's like, okay, well, if he had, so he's only he's only been one book where he's changed from this kind of I wouldn't even say stoner, but like this kind of like lost soul. He he kind of lives at home. He's not really. He just works at the museum as a job. He's not really sure what he wants to do with his life. His older relationship is successful, so then he gets these magical powers, and then he like kind of gets a little bit of leeway, gets a little bit of confidence, but he's not there yet. He's not like a if you think the very end of like a king would be like Odin and Thor's dad, right? And so Odin is like, no, I decreed this, therefore I'm going to make it happen. Whereas he's still a little bit more uncertain about what he believes and what he thinks. And so that's where you really need to make sure that he's convinced. Like, for example, I had gone through and I was like, so first Jesus declines to help the guy, and then I was like, wait a minute, well, why would he change his mind? And it's like, oh, well, if the guy saved his life, right? Like then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, he owes him one. And so it's like, okay, but then come to find out later, when we find out that the guy's really bad, it's like, oh, well, he actually, the person that hired Jesus actually set up that scenario. And so that's where you just have to have things like that, like things that really make them poking and prodding them on to make sure they really get their butt in gear. But like I was saying earlier, that South Park video I watched is like really funny, because it's like South Park writers kind of have like this very, very easy shorthand. There's you can't say and then. It's like, okay, this happens and then. They're like, no. It has to be this happens, but or therefore. So they use the World of Warcraft episode. It's like the friends are playing World of Warcraft, but they meet a player that's super strong. Therefore, they train, but they still lose. Therefore, they talk to Randy. Like there's like all these things of like doom, 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 over and over again. And that's kind of what I'm going for here. But I have to remember that it's about Jesus and his motivations, not just Jesus isn't kind of going along for the ride. No, no, no. Jesus is the main character, and the main character is the one deciding shit. And so that's where I'm a little bit. It just seems a little bit fuzzy here, like where. You know, at a certain point, it's just like you don't owe him. You don't owe an asshole just for saving your life. Ah, yes, very cultured. South Park, the finest, the finest. So, all right, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna gather the squad. Parappa, get on Halo. But yeah, gather the squad, and then I'm gonna be back and I'm gonna play some Halo. Quicker writing session today. I had to, like I was saying, I had to get the book club posted on all my socials and stuff. So if you guys didn't hear, I'm starting a book club. I started a book club today, announced the book club. The first book is Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse, and we're going to be talking about it last Friday of the month. So that's April 29th at 4. Hopefully we can get, a couple people in here chatting. I'll be hosting it on my Twitch stream, so hopefully we can have a good turnout. But again, Rebecca Roanhorse's, it's called Black Sun. I just started rereading it today, and actually got this tattoo because of it. Let's see if you can see. It's like a crow. But yep, I have a Twitter. I'm most active on TikTok. Definitely not your dad. Your dad's way cooler than I could ever hope to be, Parappa. But yeah, I have a Twitter, TikTok. I'm most active on TikTok. I put up 3 videos, 3 videos a day or so during the week. Oh, the memes. Yo, send me your TikTok. I'll follow you. Oh, sorry, send me your Twitter. I'll follow you. Just drop in the chat. But yeah, quick break and then I'll be back and I'll be playing Halo.